All right. Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, we want to give our honor and glory to the Heavenly Father,
Yahweh,
by
by
Hashem,
Hashem,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
by
by
Hashem,
Hashem,
Rakakwadash.
Rakakwadash.
Double honors to our apostles, the great millstone rule well. Peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. I'm Zahab, and to my left.
Ayashima.
Today we're going to go into a topic entitled Discipline Produces, which, this brother came up with the title, all right, because we were in the middle of a discussion, man, leaving from out of town last week, and basically was not pushed on in this side of the world, which is dominated by the mind of Esau and Esau himself, is the fact that discipline produces. All right. If you look at other countries where they push discipline, or you look at other places or other cultures where people seem to have a more stricter, rigid method of living, look at their outcome. Mm-hmm. Study their statistics when it comes to success in certain avenues of their life versus America's statistic. Mm-hmm. All right? But even on a personal level, discipline produces. And before you get your precept, I want you to get Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 7. All right? Shalom to the Akim. All right, that's tuning in right now, All right?
All right, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 7. It says, "And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teaches temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude."
Those are what you call the four virtues. Esau knows about the four virtues. They would have you think that Benjamin Franklin came up with the four virtues, man. Nah, that demon was looking at the book of wisdom, man. Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter. The four virtues. Could you read that again from the beginning?
This is back in the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 7. "And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtue, for she teacheth temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude."
She is wisdom, but the four branches of wisdom that Sophia produces, all right, it said justice, prudence, temperance, and fortitude. All right, which the key point that I wanted to emphasize was temperance, man. Because temperance goes back to discipline. And discipline produces, man. All right? Discipline comes with the benefit, man. And I'm going to say this through the Spirit, man. The Most High gave every brother in this truth, no matter your finances or whatever it may be, He gave every brother in this truth time and energy, man. Mm-hmm. So you have to have discipline to allot what you put your time and energy into. Mm-hmm. Because just like an investor who invests money and expects a return, all right, who you are is determined by what you invest your time and energy into. All right? If you invest your time and energy into pleasing your flesh, you're going to have a weak spirit. Mm-hmm. You're going to be underdeveloped as a man, all right, as a man of the Lord. But if you invest your time and energy in the spirit, it's going to show on the highways and the byways. All right.
I got that word fortitude. This was on online etymology dictionary, and it says from early 15th century, from Middle French fortitude, from Latino fortidio. It says strength, force, firmness, manliness, strong and brave.
Yep. And that's where you get the word courage from. The word courage is synonymous with fortitude, man. All right, because you have to have a strength of mind to endure this truth, man. You have to have a strong mind. All right, when you fortify something, you make it tough, man.
Because if you want to save money, what do you have to be? Disciplined.
Yeah.
All right, knowing not to splurge. Yeah. Knowing to sacrifice and go without to save extra money, man. Yeah. When you want to build muscle, you want a certain type of physique that you want. All right, you have to sacrifice in your diet. And you have to put in the work at the gym, and all that comes with what? Discipline yourself, doing that time after time after time, rep after rep after rep. Because discipline is doing something when you don't feel like doing it. Yeah. Instill it. And this discipline should be instilled in you. You have to instill it in you through repetition, man.
And speaking of instill, when you do it a certain period of time, it becomes a part of your character, man. Mm-hmm.
What else you want to give me?
No, I was just gonna say, even if it's something like you said you don't like doing, Sirach 4 and 7. All right, but the apostles push that vibration that we are to reclaim our manhood in this truth. All right, those 4 virtues, all right, are pillars of your manhood, exercising the art of discipline. All right.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 7. It says, "Get thyself the love of the congregation, and bow thy head to a great man. Let it not grieve thee to bow down."
Was it the U.S. Sirach 4:17?
4:17. Okay. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 4 and 17. "For at the first you will walk with thee by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline."
Yo, it's talking about wisdom, that she is personified as a woman. So when you first come into this truth, you're going to be tormented by discipline, man. All right? Go ahead.
And it says, and torment him with her discipline until she may trust his soul and try him by her ways.
Yep. So you gotta catch hell, all right, when you come into this truth, and before the Spirit of Yahweh starts to deal with you, man. All right? All right, also, were you holding something?
No, what you want to get?
1 Corinthians 9 and 25. Because it's funny that Apostle Paul, he likened this truth to athletes, because during that time, Paul was under the rule of the Roman Empire, which was under Grecian influence, man. So it was basically how you would see it today. You would see Floyd Mayweather, LeBron James, or you get that same energy back then. So he was able to make analogies with the scriptures by way of sports. All right.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9, all right, verse 25. "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things."
Temperate goes back to moderate, man, or balanced. But in order to be balanced, you have to have discipline. Because to be balanced is to say, I know when to do it and when to say stop. Your flesh gonna keep saying go.
Yeah, your flesh ain't got no conscience.
Nope.
It ain't got no brakes.
Nope.
You know, it ain't got no it don't analyze anything.
It doesn't. Because one of the virtues is prudence, right? Your flesh doesn't look ahead at the result of the action.
Nah.
If I do this, then this might happen. That's a virtue to even have that spirit in you, man. That's a gift from Yahweh Shai to have prudence. That's why I said a prudent man foreseeth the evil. Okay?
I'm going to go to the word temperance in the Greek, and it's ekratayamai, and it says to be self-controlled, continent, to exhibit self-government.
To exhibit self-government. Esau will have you won't even know what it means to have self-government, because Esau tells you from the time you're a child to do what you want to do, man. That beast desire in you, that beastly desire is supposed to be governed, man.
Obey thy thirst.
Obey thy thirst. All right? That's supposed to be governed, man. There's a direct polarity between the Western world and the East, man. All right?
And it says to exhibit self-government, conduct oneself temperately.
See, and that's what the Most High did with the nation of Israel, man. He disciplined us, because if you look up the word discipline, can you get the word discipline just off any dictionary, really? And we'll just segue into how he deals with discipline as a nation, man. All right? Because the Most High dealt with us like he dealt with a single individual. Okay?
It said the practice of training people to obey rules of conduct or behavior, using punishment to correct disobedience.
Yep, and repeat that definition of Bakasha.
This the definition of discipline on Google, and it's the first one. Says a noun. It says the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior, using punishment to correct disobedience.
Yep.
And synonyms is control, training, teaching, instruction, regulation, direction, order.
Regulate means the rule. All right.
Direction, order, authority, rule, strictness.
Yep. Strictness. That reminds me of the Amish society, man. They have strict rules, but those rules produce a positive outcome. And Shalom Akim. Those rules produce positivity. I was just looking at the statistics of the Amish culture and the dominant American culture. The Amish have only a 4% obese rate, 50% lower than diabetes. All right, because they're so active and they're so disciplined, man. All right, but going back to our nation, which is way more important, can you get Sirach 17:8?
Come.
Because guess what? The Most High disciplined the nation of Israel, man.
That's Sirach 17:8.
Come.
All right, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 17 and verse 8. And it says, he set his eyes upon their hearts, that he might show them the greatness of his works. Yep. He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding, and the elect shall praise his holy names. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for inheritance. Yep. He made an everlasting covenant with them and showed them his judgments.
Did you get to the part where it said he nourished us up with discipline?
He nourished us up with discipline.
Because I probably wrote down the wrong verse.
Okay, come on. I know it's in here, though.
Is it 18?
Come on.
Yeah, okay.
Verse 18, Sirach 17-18. You know, this is Yahushua speaking on the nation of Israel. You know, like the brother said, as a child. It says it says, whom being his firstborn, he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love doth not forsake him.
Now, you go back to that word discipline out your dictionary.
All right, this is the definition for discipline. It said the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior.
What are the rules and code of behaviors? The law, statutes, and commandments. All right, it says, go ahead.
And it said using punishment to correct disobedience.
What were the punishments, man? The captivities, man. All right? This is the ultimate form of discipline, man. This right here, us being in the Americas, is the ultimate form of discipline, man. It's chastisement. Baruch 4, my son, despise not the chastisement of the Most High. All right? I'm sorry, my children. Despise not the chastisement of the Most High, man. Because it's a form of discipline to cultivate us into the kingdom, man. All right?
Yeah, cool, bro.
All right, go ahead.
This is Nehemiah 8:3. It says, and he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning until midday, before the men and women, and those that could understand, and the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law.
Yep.
You know, so that was going back during the time when they were rebuilding the temple, you know, and Nehemiah was reading the law to the people, man, you know, because they was establishing, all right, a sovereignty, you know, some type of sovereignty amongst the nation, man. And what did they lay down first, man? Their law, man. All right, a certain discipline, because they had just came, all right, from a captivity of the heathens, man. Even though they were still under the Persians, they had received a little leeway, you know. But instead of them wilding out with the leeway, they established their discipline, man. That's the first thing that they brought back to the table, was their discipline of the law, man. You know, and then skip to verse 8. It says, so they read the book and the law of the Most High distinctively, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading.
Yep.
You see? So we're supposed to be teachers, you know, and priests, man. You know? And the priests, all right, had to have their top discipline, man. You see, when you understand the tribe of Levi, they were very tedious and they were very meticulous how they did things, man. Now, every brother not going to be as tedious as the next brother, but at the same time, there's a standard that we have to keep, all right, when we present doctrine to Israel, man, you know, and also our behavior off camera, man, has to matches, all right, what we're teaching and what we're breaking down, man, you know. You want to get something, bro?
Yeah, I'm going to read this real quick since I'm on it.
Come on.
The Baruch 4:25. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from the Most High. For thy enemy have persecuted thee, but surely thou shalt see his destruction and shalt tread upon his neck. All right, but it says, my children, suffer patiently the wrath. The wrath is another form of discipline, man. Hey, as a matter of fact, Jeremiah, I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy.
Come on.
I think it's around 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
But you feel to make a point?
No, I was going to get the scripture. I'll wait till you get through.
Okay, go ahead. You get the scripture.
All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 12. it said, "For thus said the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous.
Yep.
There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. Yeah. All thy lovers have forsaken thee, they seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy."
I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy. But that wound is synonymous with discipline. Basically, he said, I have disciplined you with the discipline of captivity, man.
The stripes. The
stripes. How do you control a nation as though it's your son? You do it through captivity. How do you chastise it? How do you give it strikes? Mm-hmm. Do you strike them with lightning? You make thunderbolts hit them? No, you strike them with other nations. I punish you with other nations, man.
The wound of an enemy.
The wound of an enemy.
Mm-hmm. And it says, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased.
Yep, not because the white man was just Esau, some powerful nation. No, the Most High, he was a throwaway tool. He was a throwaway gun, a throwaway chastening rod to bruise us, man. All right, for correction. The Most High beat us so bad, pursuing to Deuteronomy 28. All right. We got beat so bad, the Most High used the prophets to wake us up and tell us why we went off, man. Mm-hmm. It's like somebody went to a bar and got beat up so bad. Somebody to tell them why you got beat up in the first place. Mm-hmm. Like, man, what happened? Mm-hmm. That's the situation in America, man. All right?
Now, when you go into the word chastisement in the Hebrew, it's my wasar, and it says discipline, chastening, correction.
Yep.
You know, so we was put in this captivity to be corrected, man. You know, not to indulge in the flesh, man. You know, we were here for correction, man. You realize why you're here, man. And once you realize that you're being chastised, you know, then you go through it, man. We should be more, you know, I say it's a time and season for everything, man. But at the end of the day, brothers gotta start being more serious minded, man. You know? Now we're not depressed, you know, because we rejoice in the prophecies coming to pass, man. But with that, we still more serious minded as we get closer to the finish line, man. You know? Yeah, son, bro.
Come, but if you got somewhere already, go ahead.
Come, let me get it real quick. And that's what the prophet Micah, you know, he was in the spirit. Get it real quick. All right, this is the book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 9. It says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him. You know, so the prophet Micah said he gonna bear the indignation of the Lord because he sinned against him, man. You know, he understood that he's bearing the indignation. The reason why he can't get all the women that he want, you know, he can't make the finances that he want because he's bearing the indignation of the Lord, man. Yeah. The Lord has put a halt on him where you can't get your heart's desire, man. That's gonna come in the kingdom, man. You know, but for the most part, you're gonna take L's on this side, man. You know, the Lord will throw you something here and there. You know, he'll elevate you in this society, man. You know, probably give you a pay raise or a promotion on a job or a different thing. The Lord will reward you with different things like that to handle your carnal business that you have to handle your day to day, man. You know, but you can't will your way into a better situation, man, because we bearing the indignation of the Lord, man.
The Most High is not gonna put you in a situation to where you forget that this is captivity, man. Mm-hmm. You know.
And it says, because I have sinned against him until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. Yeah. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness.
Yep. So you want to continue? No, hey, that's the point, man. I will bear the indignation. And being in America and enduring this chastisement is bearing the indignation, man. And that's why I said the more wisdom you have, the more grief, because we woke up and realized that we were in hell, man. Mm-hmm. And it's only temporary, man. All right. So I'm going to read this scripture real quick. Lamentations 4 and 22. Speaking of discipline, the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. America was the completion of the punishment of our iniquity, pursuant to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Now the Most High is going to punish the punisher, man. He's going to punish his throwaway weapon, man, with 1,000 years of hardcore bondage, man, followed by destruction. All right. Yeah, that closes what's up.
Come, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 41. It says, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak."
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And at that point, you exercise discipline, man. Because you have to practice, and a point that's always been made through the spirit is, your flesh and your spirit are at odds with each other. But the way you control which one is going to dominate the other, in most cases, is which one you feed the most. If you got the good wolf and the bad wolf is the wolf of the flesh. All right. If you feed the flesh more, then that means that fleshly wolf is going to be stronger. It's going to dominate the spirit. But if you feed the spiritual wolf more, the spiritual wolf is going to be stronger. All right. By you investing more time and energy, all right, into the good wolf, so to speak, man.
And by habit, all right, you're going to want to do more spiritual things, man. Yeah. All right, if you're feeding the spirit, but if you're feeding the flesh by habit, you're going to want to do more fleshly things, man. When the flesh is weak, the flesh is gullible, man. The flesh is susceptible, to anything that pleases it, man.
And basically, it's a demon inside you, man. And this demon's working with your weaknesses, man.
Come on.
All right?
Because their flesh will make you block out, all right, rational thinking, man. Yeah. All right? Your flesh doesn't deal with rationality, man. With rationalizing, what you're doing, man. The flesh is just worried about getting this feel, man. I want to look up that word habit. See, it's in meat on that, and we close it out. Let's see, habitat. It said this is the word habit from Google, and it says a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. So if you have fleshly habits, the more you do and indulge in, it's gonna be hard to give up. So it's good to do spiritual habits, man. You want to be in a position where you got those spiritual habits that's hard to give up, man. That's your tendency is to be spiritual, man.
Pray to the Most High. If you got demons you dealing with, things is hindering your growth, pray to the Most High, fast on it so He can build you up out of those poor habits, man.
Go back to that desert place like like Apostle Tahaja did the lesson on, man. Go back to the desert, man. Yeah. All right? And when you watch the movie Creed 2, which I'm not going to go into detail, but Rocky had to take, all right, little Creed to the desert, man. Isolate him, man. Take him back to the basics, man. And that's what we got to do, man. That's what fasting is for, man. All right? Even past food, you got to fast from other pleasures, man.
And some things you got to let go of completely.
Let go completely, man.
Even if it's not a sin. If that thing is throwing your spirit out of whack, whatever it may be, let that shit go, man. I know we going both ways. We going as an individual in this truth and in a discipline as a nation. But, as an individual, if you got things that's slowing you down, you supposed to be past no law, no sin, man.
Yeah.
It's about evolving, man. If you got something that's slowing you down, or even a brother's telling you, look, you need to cut that out, do it, man. Because we're not in elementary anymore. Brothers has been in this truth over a decade. You're elevating, man. Or even if it doesn't really matter how long you've been in the truth, man. You're supposed to be passing the elementary levels of don't eat pork, don't eat, I'm good because I'm keeping the law.
And going into some of the synonyms for habit, it says a custom, a practice, a routine, a pattern.
A pattern, man. If you do it every day, it's going to be a part of your subconscious. A habit ain't nothing. It's something that you do all the time to the point where it's a part of you, man. All right?
And you don't want nothing worldly, all right, to be a part of you, man. There should be something that you do when you get ready, man. All right? Not because it's a habit, man. This is what you do every single day, week, or 2 days, or however you do it, man. Those things should be near me seldomly, man. According to each brother's own balance, man. One more scripture, bro. Because you spoke about cutting things off. You know, when Yahweh Shah spoke about that. It said, this is Matthew 5:29, and it says, and if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out.
Yeah. Whatever your thing is, man, your old man tendencies, man. We all got them, bro. We all got what you think you struggling with that you don't want to tell nobody. We all dealt with it and dealing with it, brother. You know, all right.
And it said, and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
If it's people you hanging with that you got an attachment to them, but they're not in this truth and they're hindering you, gotta cut them off, man. Even family, man.
And it says, I'm going to go to the word in the Greek, and it says scandalizo. This is the word, the Greek word for offend in the blue letter. And it says to put a stumbling block or impediment in the way upon which another may trip or fall.
Yeah.
You know, so when it says pluck out their right eye, man, it said pluck out or cut off something that can cause you to fall. That could be an impediment, man. Stunt your spiritual growth, man. Stunt you being productive, man. You know.
That's why it says in Sirach, go not in the way where thou mightest fall. That goes into also your bad tendencies, man. They give you a negative spiral effect back into a demonic state you'll be in. All right, you got any closing statements?
Yeah, just like I say, brothers, you know, continue to focus on your discipline, man. You know, discipline and balance. All right, that's for the longevity, man. You know, because we coming into a time where temptation gonna come harder. Satan gonna throw more, you know, stumbling blocks at you, man. You know, because if you're easily tempted, you know, if you don't have the discipline to fall back, man, Satan gonna give you them things that you've been lusting for and won't. Satan gonna put it right in your lap, man. You know, and it's gonna snatch you right up out of here, man. You know, and he gonna do it in the he gonna finesse you out the truth, man. You know, Satan gonna finesse you up out of here, man. You know, so at the end of the day, you know, we have to all build our discipline and our balance, man. You know, speaking to ourselves chiefly, man, because we understand, like the brother said, we going through the same things, man. We've been through different things, man.
We ain't got delivered yet.
Yeah.
So hey, that's pretty much the point, man. And pray. Hey, but with that, we hope you brothers are edified. Once again, we want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, rule well. Peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. To the next lesson, Shalom.
Shalom.